Welcome to Nicaragua, a land of blue lakes, black volcanoes, past poets, and current rebels. Located in the center of Central America, this country is known around the world for its exports of aromatic coffee and premium cigars. Our trip was an opportunity to meet Nicaraguans one-on-one, and for one short week, witness and learn about the things we have in common with our Central American neighbors. Especially the importance of family values and the desire for better employment opportunities.
Para empezar, pues, este es el barro, la materia prima.
The raw material, clay.
Está listo.
And that's ready then. Wow.
Entonces,
It's also a country that is known for decades of political turmoil. And at times, the United States has been an active participant in the chaos. On day one, Mark Lester, Regional Co-Director of the Center for Global Education, explained to our group that even if a family is struggling to buy the monthly basket of consumer goods, their life is still better than before the Sandinistas and Daniel Ortega came to power.
Poor people don't have any expectation that the system is going to be just. They're just trying to find a way to survive. So that's the main priority. The important thing for them is, am I able to get my kids educated? When they're sick, get them attention? Can they have a future? Can I get enough to eat? You know, that kind of thing. And in that sense, under this government, that's more possible than in the past.
Nicaraguans, according to Lester, don't necessarily trust the Daniel Ortega government for justice. However, Lester feels that Nicaraguans aren't necessarily going to replace Ortega at the polls. Sergio Quiros works for Pro-Nicaragua.
At large, there is a lot of still the image of the 80s in Nicaragua. We believe that we can change by becoming the ambassadors of the new Nicaragua and letting them learn about the facts and the opportunities that exist, whether it is an energy generation or manufacturing industry, as well as food processing. There is much to be done, as well as the fact that Nicaragua is one of the safest countries in all of Latin America, and by far actually in Central America.
Dick Gallegos, general manager of an apparel production company in a free trade zone, sees challenges and misconceptions.
I think a lot of it has to do with the myth that, well, number one, that, companies are taking jobs away from people in the United States, but you're also creating and making a great environment for the people here. I mean, you're giving them a great opportunity. There's people here that don't get a chance to, have the things they have by working in a place like this. They do get a bonus, production bonuses, and their salary is higher than what the average Nicaraguan people makes. So it is you're doing a great service by having companies come over here. People have this myth about free trade zones, with the sweatshops things back in the 80s or the 90s, I guess early 90s. But things are different now. There's a lot of great opportunities for people, and like I said, you're doing a great deed by providing jobs for a lot of the people here.
In Esteli, we met with the group La Femme. The leaders, Rosabel, Sarah, and Cristia, shared their mission is to help women escape domestic abuse, have access to mental health counseling, and to teach women to handle their own finances. To support the mission, all the women who find refuge with La Femme provide labor at a nearby farm where they raise, roast, and export coffee. Augsburg professor Stephen Manderscheid, who leads the trip, says every trip is different for visiting Augsburg students.
It's a unique experience. You get to swim in a crater lake, you get to go to a volcano, you get to go to a potter in a local village. You get to see leaders working their magic, trying to achieve their vision, facilitating change in an environment that's very, very challenging. Nicaragua is the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And it's a challenge for people to live day to day there.
My takeaway from the trip really was change happens at the local level, and that was very reaffirming to me because I work in a community initiative, and on a day-to-day basis you kind of wonder, am I making a difference? But when we saw the leaders in Nicaragua, we met the people who are making significant change, people who don't have a lot of money, aren't highly educated, but have a lot of passion for what they're doing. They are making change.
So this year, God willing, I will be able to graduate from high school my fifth year. Congratulations.
I think women in this country give me a lot of hope. In Nicaragua, women are a motor for change, and economically speaking, socially speaking, and that gives me a lot of hope.
Another student whose life changed as a result of her trip to Nicaragua is Donna Oda.
My experience in Nicaragua was a true life-changing experience. We went and we met these three women, and they are true community leaders. One of these humble women invited us into her home, and we stood in there and we listened to their experiences and how they served their community, the poverty that was there, the lack of access that they had. And this young lady said, "Why are you all interested in leadership, and why are you studying leadership?" I shared with her that in my experience, the lack of access in my community was something that drove me to the leadership program, and I had always wanted to be a catalyst for change. And after it was all over and we took a few pictures and we posed, and I was on the bus, and one of the leaders, she asked me to come off the bus. So the interpreter comes and gets me, and she looks at me and she says, "What you told me really inspired me." She said, "I really dislike racism and prejudice." She said, "But what I want you to do in your role is to stand up as a strong Black woman and fight the fight and do what you have to do." So right there, it was just such a spiritual, and I'll say spiritual experience, because it was like, you see their poverty, but yet here she is empowering me